sky, I'll carry you home, home to the mountaineers. And soon, my friend, you'll see them again, the ones you left behind, the ones you left behind. And I'll sing for you all the way home. But why does it feel like home isn't home? I've been in this war too long. It's in the air that I breathe, oh, it's in the trees. It shivers down my spine. It shivers down my spine. I just sing my song as I walk through the gate. She stands just like before, but she doesn't look the same. The fear in her eyes, I've seen it before, and she can't recall my name. No, she can't recall my name. And so I sing to her as I fall on. A shimmering light as I hit the ground. Her lover had a gun. Now it's you that I see, home of the brave. Oh, how you bother me. Oh, the things you let me see. But still I sing for you my last song.
Well, I could finally put this pig to bed. Holy cow. I hate insulating. I said it on the last video. It's one of those things I absolutely hate doing. It's just tedious. It's boring. But man, when you get a section done and you're nice and warm, now it's probably, I think it's in the teens outside right now, and we get a really good wind. Don't know if you can hear it if it picks up on the camera, but we're getting a lot of kind of odd, it's so cold, but we're getting a lot of like sleet and freezing nastiness and really that grainy driving snow. It's nasty out right now, but we're in here and it's not so bad. I mean, I had to take the car hard off because it's getting pretty warm. And it's funny, now you get on the floor and it's really cold still, and that is, I'm going to have to insulate that floor, but I'm not worrying about it right now for this winter. we're not too far from March. Once we get through March, things are going to warm up. But at this point, it's warm enough in here to where she can use it for what she wants to do. And we can finally move out there and start doing some stuff. I've got some insulation left over. I think I want to say I used 23 sheets out here. Maybe, no, not even. I think 20 sheets I used out here. So that's not bad. Yes, it took me that long to put 20 sheets of foam board up, but there was a lot of cutting and a lot of fitting because I like it tight. I had a lot of great suggestions on doing the foam board, sealing up with the spray foam. I will take up some of those suggestions because they just plain make sense, and I sure as hell don't know everything. But, so, trying new things, you know, that's what makes the world go around. But, yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm actually real excited. One thing we actually just pretty well got done. Of course, I've got to pick up a lot more spray foam. I think I'll take some of the suggestions on getting the contractor cans with the reusable nozzle on it. I think that makes a lot more sense than what I'm doing. But, man, I'm just happy to be out here and not be freezing my balls off. I mean, hell, you guys have been with the channel since day one. You've seen me out here in some really nasty stuff pretending to like it, you know. 20 below zero last winter, working in the wind, running the sawmill, cutting joints and that stuff. Oh, it was terrible. It was friggin' brutal. But not so much this winter. Not nearly as bad. I mean, the other section out there, the other side of this plastic, it is as cold out there as it is outside. The only difference is you don't have all the wind, but we still have some because we have a lot of closing up yet to do. I got into this end and just really wanted to get something kind of finished off and ready to go. On another note, I've had a few questions over the last couple of years about how much timber you use, things like that for a building like this. Are you really saving anything? Is it eco-friendly? Questions like that. And I think I'm going to do a video just addressing those questions because I think it's pretty important if you guys are looking to build your own frame. I think those are some things that you're probably going to want to know about before you get into it. Bottom line, if you're going to build a timber frame, you're going to build it because you really love a timber frame. You step inside a timber frame and it is like stepping into a piece of history. It's an awesome feeling, especially if you built it yourself. But it is definitely something, if you're going to do it, you got to love it. You really got to want to do it. And a project like this takes a lot of dedication. I mean, we're 3 years into this thing, and you guys see where we're at. Yeah, we've had some major setbacks and delays along the way, but that's life, and you have to plan for that kind of thing. It can happen to anybody. I may even do a video on the mistakes I made on this build. So maybe you folks can learn from them. I've pretty well documented every mistake throughout the timber frame vlog videos, but maybe one dedicated to cover each one into a little more detail of what I did wrong, what I did to correct the issue, things like that. I mean, we had one video a while back where I was on my hands and knees with a chainsaw trimming a post that was already standing because I cut it a little too long, and a lot of that I've mentioned before. We did not have enough help to pour the concrete. There was 4 of us doing I think we did 32 yards that day, and the concrete trucks were just lined up and pumping for all they were worth. It was setting up so fast we couldn't finish it off the way it needed to be. So we got a lot of, it's not terrible, it's actually really good for what it is. And my blacksmith shop and my tractor repairs aren't really going to care about that floor. It's just going to be happy to have concrete. But anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'm just, if you can't tell, I'm pretty damn excited to have her spot. She could finally use it. And of course, we eventually, probably over the spring and summer, we'll start building our partition walls. I have a building for a gentleman that he wants me to tear down. It has a roof on it. It's all rough cut hemlock and a lot of 1x10 boards, a lot of 2x8s, a lot of 2x6s, 6x6s. I think it's like a 28x30 addition that he never finished off. So this thing's not even, there's no nothing. There's no drywall. There's none of that. It's just lumber. He's going to keep the steel and we're going to take the rest. His rafters, I want to say, are 18-foot long 2x6s, and I have that's definitely enough to build the partition walls downstairs, to build the ones up here. And if I run the 1x10s through a planer a couple times, we'll get some nice boards to finish this wall in here. On the plus side too, it's been up long enough where everything's really nice and dry, so I don't really have to worry about the shrinkage and things like that, which, as you can tell, building green, that's a big issue. Another question I had recently in the last couple of videos is, am I worried about water penetration and rain in the cracks in the siding boards? I've mentioned this many times, but I will mention it again because it's worth repeating. The boards you guys see on the walls on the outside, those are not the final siding boards. We've talked about board and batten in the past. I'm not a big fan of it. I like to have a sheathing layer. So we're going to be doing a vapor barrier on the outside of this building. I've had a lot of questions on vapor barriers also. I've had a lot of concern about putting the foam board insulation up against the roof. Now there is an airspace, a 2-inch airspace in between that foam board and that steel roof. And we left it vented. We're going to be putting vented soffit up. We'll make it ourselves, but we'll be doing that all the way around. I want this building, I want above that insulation to be able to breathe and dry out. That's why I went with the foam board, because it's going to hold any moisture from inside the building. It's going to hold it in the building rather than escape through the roof. And we're also going to be putting bats. We're going to be doing regular insulation underneath the foam board, and then we're going to be doing a finished ceiling out of wood. So that way it should be all right. I'm not too worried about the roof condensating and running down. If it does, hopefully it's not too much and it'll run right down the inside of the tin and out the eaves. But I honestly, to be quite honest with you, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, because I don't think there's going to be that much of a temperature change between that steel and the face of that foam that it meets. Like I said, plus we have that 2-inch gap there. So anyway, I have rambled on enough at you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know it was a really long time lapse, but I've done how many videos the last couple of weeks on insulating in here. So I figured there's not much more I can cover on insulation, at least at this point in time. So also, we get to look forward to, in the not too distant future, starting to wire this thing. And when we get into the mechanicals of the building, that I can really very confidently say this is how you do it, because that's what I do for a living. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you on the next one.